What up, everybody? It has been a while since we have met on a Wednesday, but here we are. We did it. We made it again. I'm always amazed that I can make it to Wednesday and actually pull this off. So, hallelujah and hello, everybody. How are you doing? My name is Rocky Ballesteros, and this is my Wednesday comics for today. What day is today? December 4th. 2024. Thank you for joining me. It's so good to be back in the saddle doing this. We took a week off for Thanksgiving last week. Hopefully everybody had a good Thanksgiving. We didn't overeat, which was great. That's unusual for Thanksgiving. We didn't overeat. We cooked just enough, just a little bit of leftovers afterwards, but we planned it well enough that we didn't overcook. And got to hang out with some good company, some friends and family. And it was just really great. It was great to have pretty much the week-ish off, a little bit more relaxed, and just hanging out with my fam, and then having people over for Thanksgiving, and then getting to see some extended family over the weekend. Didn't get to see any movies or anything like that, which is sometimes a thing to do on the weekend. Was peeking my head in on Black Friday sales, which, hit or miss for me, depending on what. I do look at like a lot of tech stuff during Black Friday sales because that stuff usually goes on sale. And I'm actually using one of the things I'm trying out. We'll see. I'm trying it out right now. This is the test run. I decided to bite the bullet. There was a great deal, or a semi-decent discount on a device that I had my eye on, and it's called the Elgato Prompter, and it's kind of known in the like streaming circles. A lot of people talk about it. There's been a million reviews out there, but pretty much it's like what you imagine an old, or not old, but like a TV station teleprompter where it's placed right in front of my camera, and it reflects the image onto my camera. So I'm staring at the lens, but I can also, now I'm staring at my face, which is a little disconcerting. Before I could just look at a circle of a lens, but now I'm staring at my face, which is what you guys are looking at. So it's a little disturbing, but it also doubles as like a prompter. So when I record, say, pre-recorded videos that I edit, that I'm speaking to, say, for example, a closer look video, when I'm doing a more in-depth review, and I want to like write out what I'm saying. Now I don't have to memorize it all, which will be really helpful. And hopefully it'll help with the delivery a little bit better, where I'm not just kind of thinking in my head and like stuttering and thinking that I'm trying to say the right thing. Now I can actually read a script that I write. We'll see. It might come across as a little canned, but I've seen people use it really well, and this particular prompter has gotten a lot of great reviews. So I'm trying it out right now. It's a little weird. I'm not going to lie, but hopefully I'll get used to it. But it's kind of cool too. It is making the tech in my office grow a lot more. But Black Friday. So yeah, that is what happened for me this weekend, and just getting situated. And then, Wednesday, as all the amazing things that happen in life, the things that you can be sure of is that the week starts all over again, and Wednesday comes around and new comics are to be found. So anyway, I'm glad to be back. I was going to repeat myself. See, I'm not using a prompter right now, so maybe I should. But be back doing this, streaming now, and seeing all you guys, like this friend of ours, Comrade Sammy. How are you doing, Comrade Sammy? I hope you had a good Thanksgiving. Comrade Sammy was putting this out there. She said the Mod Squad better appear. She was first in chat. They're gonna get an earful for me. So I think people have showed up. People have come, Comrade Sammy. So put that katana back in the scabbard. It's going to be all right. It's going to be okay. Timmy Mello showed up right after when he heard the cry. Timmy Mello.
And the Guardians are headed to October.
Reporting in due to fear of Sammy. I hear you, man. Nice new profile pic. Is this a new profile pic? I think. I don't remember seeing the skull. Is that a progression of your old profile pic? Because I think your old profile pic was like a helmet, wasn't it? Anyway, good to see you, Timmy Mello, and thank you for coming in here so Sammy doesn't kill everybody. What's up, Jason? Oh, sorry. What's up at work? Singing by to hit that like and say hello. He's singing. Maybe that song. Maybe he's singing that song. I know what you meant. Swinging by. But thank you, Jason, Unhinged. Thank you for coming in and always hitting that like. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate your supporting my channel. You do it all the time. Every time I pop into your chat, you're always giving me a shout out. So everybody go follow Unhinged and his channel, Jason Bascom, Unhinged. Feel free to drop the link in the chat. Awesome channel, fun stuff, talented artist, love it. Just great dude overall. I mean, I've never met you, Jason, but you just seem like a cool dude. I'd love to meet you in person someday. Who else is here? Emo Trash. Emo Trash. I'm always fighting with your assignments, whether I'm blocking you from doing them or you're turning them in or class is happening while I stream. Always, I'm stumbling you as you go to school. That's not a good thing. So I'm sorry, but what was the assignment? Was it really that bad? Are you done with inking? Are you into? I thought you wanted to get into was it pastels? Am I remembering that? Or watercolors? I can't remember. I knew it was something with color. Hopefully you're getting into something that you enjoy, Emo Trash, because that's always a plus to be taking classes that you like as opposed to that you don't. But anyway, thank you for coming in here. Cranberry Landers is here. What's up, Cranberry?
This is a cranberry full of power.
Full of power, full of turkey, full of rest, I hope, Cranberry Landers. How are you doing, my friend? Evening. Is it already evening? I guess so. Let's see. 3, 5. It's getting close to evening for you, Emo Trash. It is. People are saying hello. Emo Trash, is your hands are cold. Yeah, it's getting colder here. I see my heating bill creep up as the winter months come in. So yeah, it is getting chilly here. I'm not going to even tell you what the temperature is because you guys will laugh that I think it's cold. But suffice it to say, I'm just looking up what the temperature is. Suffice it to say, it's probably not as cold here as it is over there, wherever you may be. All right, sorry, I was just checking my messages. Stick them in the back of your pants, Cranberry Lander says. Or stick them between your legs. It's getting a little personal. Good ideas. Comrade Sammy says she went to the movies for Thanksgiving, went to see the Bonhoeffer movie. It was pretty good. Highly recommend. Okay, awesome. I am probably going to see Wicked, which I've been very like, I don't know. I really love that musical, and what I was seeing out of the film, some of the choices, specifically the casting choices, made me go, it felt a little like but I know people who have gone and seen it and say it's pretty good. It's really good. So I'm planning on going to watch that with my cousin. She also loves musicals. She doesn't live too far away from me. So hopefully we can make a thing out of it. So yeah, we'll see. But the Bonhoeffer movie, that sounds pretty good. Sounds interesting. I will have to look and see if that's still playing around here. Cranberry Lander says he had a pretty good Thanksgiving. Watched The Other Guys. I don't even know what that movie is. The Other Guys. What is The Other Guys? I'm getting that confused with The Bad Guys. The Other Guys. Oh, wait. Oh, that's an old movie, right? You didn't watch that in the theater. That's with Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg. Is that right? That sounds awesome. Well, I'm just looking at this cast list. Michael Keaton's in it. Samuel L. Jackson. All right, I haven't seen that, but that looks funny. I love Will Ferrell. And Mark Wahlberg, arguably, is a great comedian, even though that's not how he started off as. He started off as Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch, if you guys remember that. What'd he say about looking at his own face? He got a yap in his... I went back to... Emo Trash in pure form. Ready to roll for this. I'm ready for it, Emo Trash. Haven't talked to you in a while, so let's go. Let's go. Let's go with the derailing. Let's go with the insults. Good, you're all spared from my ruthless scolding. Comrade Sammy keeping us all in check. Timmy Mello says, for Thanksgiving, he gave in and cooked 3 dishes for Thanksgiving. Took 4 hours to get them done and served them for 2 different dinners. Wow, that sounds amazing. Yeah, I had to start our turkey. I did a slow cook turkey. It was the first time I was doing a slow cooker turkey. First time I was doing that. And it was a little dicey because I decided to just get a turkey breast. We don't really eat the legs. Remember we were talking about dark meat, light meat on one of my previous streams before Thanksgiving. So my family's not a huge dark meat family. So I decided, why pay for the extra weight I didn't want to overcook a turkey. So why pay for the extra weight of the legs and the wings and all that. So I just bought a turkey breast and I was going to slow cook it. And it didn't fit in my slow cooker when it was frozen. So I was like, is that going to fit? And didn't fit frozen. I thought maybe after it thaws out, it'll mold to fit more into the, melt a little bit to fit into it. Lo and behold, the rib cage was just way too tall. So not only did I have to wait for this, it was almost an 8-pound turkey breast to thaw, I had to debone it or de-rib it. I don't know. The morning of. So that was quite a task. That was me looking up a bunch of YouTube videos of how do you debone a turkey. And I also knew I had to get it into the oven or the slow cooker for, I think it was 6 or 7 hours. So, sorry, my phone is buzzing. Why are my notifications happening here? Give me 1 second. Oh, I'll try out something. Check this out, guys. This is one thing I did work on. This is one thing I worked on. Let's see if this works. This will be weird, but let's see if this works. How was that, huh? I call it my Be Right Back screen. What do you think? Is that weird? It was so weird to make, but kind of fun. And I thought it would be interesting to see the chat on screen. I know you guys can see it in YouTube, but to see it on screen while you guys are waiting in case I had to go away far. I might have to do that a couple times during this stream because there's a couple calls random calls that I might have to take in the middle of this. Planning not so great today. Anyway, that's one thing I did this weekend. So going back to the turkey, deboned it, seasoned it, put it in there, slow cooker. Turned out pretty good. I was actually quite surprised. And then we had a couple other dishes that we had to cook in the oven. I was trying to do it in the slow cooker so I wouldn't take up the oven space. And it seemed like it was a little easier than basting it and stuff. We didn't do stuffing. We're not big fans of stuffing. So yeah, it turned out pretty good. But that sounds amazing, Timmy Mello. That's a lot of dishes to be cooking for Thanksgiving. Nobody's shown up. We're not here. Here's Jason, Unhinged channel. Thank you, Cranberry Landers, for dropping that link. Go subscribe if you haven't. Emo Trash says, I just submitted it. You've become the excuse for a break. There we go. I can be that. I can totally be that. We tell my kids this often. If mom and dad need to be an excuse for whatever. Just make us an excuse, like to get out of a bad situation or an uncomfortable situation or awkward situation. Use us. So you can use me as the excuse for your break, emo trash. I'm happy to do that, or happy to be that for you. The new profile picture is a sketch of a weathered skull of Kang the Conqueror with helmet. Ah, there we go. God, see? Observant. Cranberry Langers, I was pretty rested. I'm all right. Skipped on the overtime today. All right. Sounds good. Yeah, coming back from vacation is always or a break is always the hardest, the re-entry period. But yeah, I there's something about Thanksgiving week where it's usually, unless you're traveling, you get enough time to kind of chill out and just space and veg out. And I did watch a movie. It wasn't at the theater, but I ended up watching The Warriors. Do you guys remember we were talking about The Warriors? I think it came out in 1979. And why I thought of The Warriors was I was listening to the music of the concept album by Lin-Manuel Miranda of doing The Warriors, which will probably eventually turn into a Broadway play. But it's based off of this movie, The Warriors, directed by, I believe his director's Walter Hill. And I saw it for the first time over break, and it was great. I really, really liked the movie. It's almost, if you like comic books, it almost felt kind of like a comic book movie. It was very, like, it's about gangs in Brooklyn in New York, and this gang war pretty much is the story. But each one of the gangs had their own personality. They had this one gang that they were all dressed up as like in baseball uniforms, and they had their faces painted like mimes, and they walked around with bats. There was one gang that was like, the Warriors, they had a certain look. They had these like brown vests. And there was another gang called the Orphans, and they had a certain look. It was cool. So each gang had a very distinct personality. And then it was just this journey of the Warriors trying to get to Coney Island, which was their home base. And the problems or the roadblocks that they faced on the way. But it's really entertaining. Actually, the cinematography in that movie, it was great, really good. And it's one of those movies that I want to do some film studies of, some compositional studies, or even color studies of, because it had such a distinct look and it played up that like heightened comic booky kind of feel to it. So if you haven't seen The Warriors, come out and play. Go check out that movie. It was really entertaining. It's not too long either. Emo Trash says the assignment was to mess around with InDesign. Oh. On top of that stupid essay I had to write before Thanksgiving. Oh, InDesign. Yeah. That's not as fun. I mean, if you like graphic design and layouts, like document layouts or laying out graphic design. InDesign is great. It's super powerful. Book design, great program. But as far as like drawing or art stuff, InDesign. That's cool. You're learning InDesign. Honestly, not that cold right now. Very disappointing. Is it 65 degrees there? Yeah, it's 62. I will not be watching Wicked, not in theaters at least. It seems like to me, I mean, it did really well over the weekend. It seems like a theater watching kind of experience. And I'll see it. I'll let you guys know what it is or how it goes. But I'm definitely going to try and see it soon. I'm saying to stick your hands in your pants because that's what my fellow army buds did. And it really warms you up quickly. Yes, no, it does. I get it. Other Guys is hilarious. Will Ferrell, that's a name I haven't heard in ages. Yeah, what happened to Will Ferrell? He kind of disappeared a little bit and hasn't been doing many movies. Girl is holding out for Sonic 3, to be honest. That'll be my reward for maybe surviving this semester. At least I'm pretty sure it hits theaters right after the semester finally ends. Yeah, I've seen trailers for it. I think I only saw the first one. I don't think I saw the second one. It was good. I'm not a huge Sonic fan. Like, I I mean, I played the video game, but I'm not a huge Sonic fan. So, but I remember. Do you remember when they first advertised that movie and he looked crazy? Sonic did, and there was such a backlash that they had to go back. I remember reading this in like the animation news sites, but they had to go back and redesign Sonic to look like the game, which is what they should have done at the beginning. And it ended up looking great. He looked great, but his first iterations looked horrible, and so they spent a lot of money doing retakes on that movie, which is probably no surprise that they made Sonic 2 and now 3 because they got to make some money back. Mark Wahlberg is very funny in The Other Guys. Yeah, he's great. He's a great comedic actor. In terms of my other classes, we're using pastels now. Okay, good. I'm tracking with the emo trash. It's been a nude model for every class for a while now, so I'm thoroughly bored with that. Boring. Nude model. Boo. Did the turkey taste good? Yes, the turkey tastes great. It actually... I cooked two things. It was turkey, and then there was this pork. What was it called? Like porchetta, I think. Basically, like a rotisserie pork. I just got it at Costco. You just had to throw it in the oven, and it had crispy skin. It's very similar to roasted pork, which is a Filipino staple for like big get-togethers. So it has like crispy skin. It's almost like pork belly a little bit. But I cooked that, and that actually wasn't as good as the turkey. The turkey turned out pretty good. So, slow cooker turkey. Recommend it. That's definitely a night before. Yeah, I should have. Right? It's okay. It managed to work out. I'm going to test out the mirrored chat, Cranberry Langer says. Oh, sorry, I'm late. I think it didn't work. You know why? I got to go check it out. Let me see. Could I pop that on? No. I'm going to get distracted here. It didn't work because, well, maybe because the comments were too far up. Maybe. I don't know. The mirror check is, yes, I think that's what happened. That is true. Whenever he steps away, you can see exactly how far behind is. That's true. Yes. No notice. Thanks, YouTube. Mark's Music Obsession is here. Mark, how are you doing? Hope you had a happy Thanksgiving, Mark. Isn't your birthday coming up? I'm pretty sure it's this week, right, Mark? Oh my gosh. Correct me if I'm wrong. It might be Mark's birthday soon here, people. So wish him an early happy birthday. Happy birthday, Mark. I'm going to pretend you didn't just say you don't like stuffing. Yeah. I don't. It's okay. It's not the thing I'm going for. So the other thing that I made was, it's a pretty easy recipe. Just look up cranberry. So here's the controversy. I know there's a lot of people out there that love the canned cranberry. I do. I like it. But there is this cranberry relish that one of my friends told me the recipe about. And then you can just look it up. If you do cranberry relish with cream cheese, there's this amazing relish. You basically blend together cranberries, fresh cranberries, jalapeno, cilantro, and a little bit of lemon juice, can be lime as well, and some sugar. And it is so good. And ever since my friend had told me that recipe, I've loved it. And then you can mix it. You basically pour it on top of a brick of cheese, cream cheese, and then you can spread it on a cracker. But you can also use it as the relish for your turkey. That is amazing. And so that's something I'm always craving when it comes to Thanksgiving. And but stuffing, it's okay. I feel like stuffing's kind of like filler, Emo Trush, she hates stuffing. So yeah, that happens. We had a lot of various dishes, so the turkey was redundant in the end. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, I think we cooked just about enough. We had one of the families we had over was vegetarian, so that kind of threw a wrench in the mix, but it also reduced the amount of meat that we had to cook. So yeah, we didn't overcook, which was great. Never been fond of the meat flavored bread mush. Yeah, that's another way. That's another way of putting it. I love stuffing when it's not gooey but fluffy, Cranberry Landry says. Yeah. There we go. Adam knows.
This is Adam.
Hey.
That character in the movie, oh man, what was his name? I forgot what his name was. He was crazy. He was one of those like psycho roles, psycho characters that there's no reasoning with him. He's just psycho. Operates on a totally different realm of reality. And that makes him frightening and unpredictable, and that's the whole point of his character. So yeah, and he's the one who says that. Warriors, come out and play. Good to see you, Adam. Glad you are here. Hey, everybody, hit the like while you can, while you're here, while it's fresh in your mind. Please hit that like. There, I was telling you guys that we are on our way to 500. We were on a roll for a while there, and then I noticed last week when I wasn't streaming at all, probably correlates it, but everything just kind of froze on my YouTube channel. Subscribers, I posted a couple YouTube shorts yesterday and they were like dead in the water, which is the first time I've seen that in a long time. And I didn't do anything different. I didn't post it at different times. I didn't approach it differently. I just did the normal thing that I normally do with those shorts, which I can get, several hundred to thousands of views on within the first day. But those were like totally dead in the water. I did a YouTube short on G.I. Joe #1, the new G.I. Joe series, and I did a YouTube short on Hyde Street #1, which is a great series from Ghost Machine. Speaking of comics, first issue was awesome, and I just read the second issue today, and it was super good. It's a really good story for a horror comic. And I, as you guys know, I'm not a big horror fan. It's awesome, and the artwork's stunning, beautiful. So yeah. Anyway, I noticed that things were kind of deadish in the water. So I was just like, dang it, what's going on? Is it because I'm not streaming? Is it going to delay me trying to get to 500 before the end of the year? Possibly. It's still possible. But so we're going to push really hard here between now and the end of the year of trying to stream more, trying to get that engagement up more. So yeah, definitely hit the like. That's where it came from. Definitely hit the like if you haven't already. I would appreciate it. Let's get going. Let's get that engine, that YouTube engine going for more subscribers. Good seeing you, Adam. They made a Warriors video game about 15 years ago. Yes, I heard about that. They also did a comic, which I kind of did a couple Google searches of. It didn't look that great. And the director's cut, or I guess they called it the director's edition. I still have it here. Here it is. Warriors. The director's cut, I don't think they edited it any differently. But what the director was saying, there was a little promo or intro that he did at the beginning. They said they were pushing into this. So the Warriors is based off of a novel or story, and they were really leaning into the comic book feel of the story and the movie itself. And I think this was part of the director's cut. I don't know. I've never seen this movie before, so I don't know the difference between this and the director's cut, or between the original and the director's cut. But what they did was they kind of did freeze frames, and they made them like panels in a comic book, and then they would zoom in and out of this comic page and then start another scene, and then it would like transition from the comic image into the scene of the movie. So I think that was part of the director's cut, but yeah, it was kind of cool, and it really played into that comic booky feel of the story. So, but yeah, he mentioned that there was a Warriors video game and also a Warriors comic, but it didn't look that great. It would make a great comic if I could redo it. If I was hired to redo the Warriors as a comic. That would be really fun. I will say InDesign has been the least painful of the Adobe products. Oh, good. That's great. Sonic 3 is out December 20th, I believe, right in time for Christmas. Amazing. I grew up like many 90s nerds with the series. Yes, yeah. Interested in seeing the third Sonic movie. I remember they went back and fixed it, which is what studios should do more often. But yeah, I remember that creepy human. Yeah, it was frightening. I was like, really, guys? Who said that this was a good idea? Like, who really thought this was a good idea? Like, nowhere, not in any art book or any art theory or anything would that make sense to take the original design and transform it into what they thought was more real looking. I don't know. It was bad. Maggie's birthday's today. Mine is the 10th and Mom's is Christmas Eve. Oh, Christmas Eve birthday. Wow, you guys are loaded in December, Mark. Hope just celebrating every week, it sounds like. Happy birthday, Maggie. How old are you? Can you ask that of a dog? How old are you? Mark's is the 10th and Mom's is Christmas Eve. Happy birthday to the Mark's Music Obsession family. Hope you guys have a great celebration. That's fun. I know when it's close to Christmas, you can always get gypped with the gifts and the celebration. It's like, oh, well, here's your Christmas/birthday present. So hopefully you don't do that in your family, Mark. Separate it out, double it up for Mom, but happy birthday to you all. Everybody wishing you guys happy birthday, happy pre-birthday. Cranberry and beet relish is a great mix. Oh, okay. I like beets. I'm not a diehard beet fan, but I like them. Mixing it with cranberries. That sounds good. Probably really healthy for you. Maggie is 11. Little doggy great grandma. Aw. My cats are, I think they're 10 also. Or 10 or 11? No, they're 10. December 10th is what you're saying, but Maggie's 11. My cats are 10, both of them. And I'll tell you guys a sad story. So there's this club at one of my kids' school. Well, actually, both of my kids went to the school, but one of my kids is still there. And it's called Pet Nation. And basically they ask for people to submit images of their pets. And if you get picked, they get put in this calendar, this, amazing pet calendar of all these cute pets. And so one of my cats, as long as my kids have gone to the school, always gets in. And the other one doesn't. And they do look kind of different from each other. But I think they're both really cute and really sweet. And but they do look different from each other. And arguably the one that gets in the calendar has a cuter face. But I was really hoping, like I was doctoring up the picture that we submitted for both of the cats this year. And for the cat that didn't make it, has not made it in the calendar, I picked the best picture I could find of him. And it was really cute, great composition, made sure the colors were nice and everything. And dagnabbit, we got the results in the calendar this week, and he did not make it. And what's worse is they'll do a mosaic image of all the pets that get submitted on the cover. And for whatever reason, they had all the pets on there. My cat, the cat that didn't make the calendar, he got his picture on the cover, just small, but in the cover. But for whatever reason, the logo that they did, this could be an InDesign issue, emo trash. But part of the logo totally covered his face. It was the saddest thing I've ever seen. It was so mean. I don't think it was intentional, but it was just really, really messed up. And I just felt so bad for him. He's sleeping right there next to me. But I just felt so bad for him. He doesn't know. But anyway, how did I get on that subject? We're talking about Mark's dog. Happy birthday, Maggie. Okay, let's see. Am I caught up yet? Not yet. Same actor played Luther in 48 Hours. Good actor. Wait, which actor? Which actor are we talking about, Mark? I missed it. From Warriors? Warriors had... There was a couple people that I recognized, couple actors I recognized in that one, but not all of them. But it was just great. It was great casting, great story, great direction. It was awesome. Really good movie. It's great to see Sonic's tiny little... Yeah, that was freaky. Some people say Sonic was made horrible on purpose for publicity. I don't know. I don't think so. I think it was just horrible choices. Happy birthdays, Mark. 'Tis also Katie's birthday. Oh, well, dang it. Happy birthday, Katie. We raise a cup of tea on your behalf. But she's probably asleep by now. Yes, probably true. Happy birthday, Katie. There we go. Happy birthday, Katie. Pour a good cup of tea for her today. Yeah, we'll do it just for Katie.
Say cup of tea.
Cup of tea.
No. A cup of tea.
Mark's Music Obsession said Katie had a stream scheduled, but it didn't happen, I don't think. Her and Maggie have the same birthday. Oh, and they're both British. Amazing. That's so great. Well, happy birthday to Katie if you are watching or watching later. Oh, the guy from the Warriors. Oh, he was in 48 Hours. Really? Okay. Yeah, he was crazy. Yeah, so creepy. The whole time was really, really creepy. Maggie's British too? Her breed is, right? I'm guessing. Mark, she looks like a British dog. She does. From the videos I've seen of her, she looks like she could be right there next to the Queen. Even though I know the Queen loved her corgis, I could see Maggie being right up there next to her. All right, so what are we doing today? Well, today, I think I caught up, thank God. Today is Wednesday, and new comic book day. However, I will confess, I didn't go to the store today. Why didn't I go to the store today? Well, I had quite a few things to do this morning, but also I didn't get to talk about the books I picked up last week, which I will bring up today. And I was looking at the books that were coming out this week, and I was like, like there wasn't anything that I don't think was in my pull box, and there wasn't anything that really jumped out at me. I could be wrong about that. Maybe there was one or two books, but nothing that made me like really want to go to the store. And because of my schedule this morning, I was like, I probably can squeeze not going to the store today and talking about the books I have. But also, I got a box in the mail yesterday. And so I forgot to mention this in the description of the show or the title of the show, but I will be doing an unboxing first, which is the first thing I'll do today. So yeah, there's still plenty to be man. If there is a week that I don't have to talk about any new comics, that will be a sad week because I've got so much backlogged. Why is my notifications are going crazy, and I thought I turned them off. Sorry. But I have so much backlogged, and I pick up so much stuff and stuff that I haven't read or stuff that I've bought and haven't talked about on stream. So if there is a week, guys, that happens and I have no comics to talk about, that will be a really, really sad week because I will have gone through... Sorry, my notifications are just going nutso, and I'm not sure why. Just make sure nobody's breaking into my house or getting sent to a hospital. So yeah, I got plenty to talk about, even if I don't go to the store, but I might end up going to a store later in the week just to go by. Oh, and also, other thing I'm going to share with you guys is I'm almost done. Well, I'd say about 80% done with another comic book store spotlight. So I haven't worked on one of those in a long time. I have a few backlogged, and yeah, that was one of the things that I wanted to work on during this break, was to start editing one of those videos. So I got through a good chunk of that yesterday and last night and a little bit this morning. So I'll share the work in progress with you guys today as well. So plenty to go through, plenty to talk about. Let me catch up here. Gosh. Is it getting worse, Comrade Sammy? Is it? Who was I talking about? There was some stream I was watching the other day. Was it Eric Weathers? So Eric Weathers, creator of Battlebick Road, I'm subscribed to his channel. And I think he was saying something. He's like, I am so far behind on my chat, guys. I'm like 4 to 5 minutes behind. And I'm like, I think on average I'm 20. So he's doing great. Oh, gosh. Adam says, have you ever read Spider-Man Life Story? No. What is that? Let me look it up. Spider-Man Life Story. Oh. Spider-Man Life Story. Mark Bagley, Chip to set art. You know what? Like, I'll say this about Mark Bagley, and I know he had a long run on the Spider books. I've never been a big fan of his work. The biggest time, or the most excited I was about Mark Bagley, I don't know if you guys know this about him, but he actually got discovered. He was one of the few people I know, at least when I was growing up, that got discovered by doing the Marvel Comics tryout page, or pages. Like, he submitted to a tryout contest to become an artist and got picked. And it was just like a dream come true for kids like me who are like, oh my gosh, you can get discovered by submitting, drawings to Marvel. And so Mark Bagley was an example of somebody who got discovered. And I remember they published his pages that he sent in, and they were great. They were amazing. He drew some Spider-Man pages and ultimately landed being a Spider-Man artist. But then when he became a professional artist, I was like, I don't know if it's because he came after the likes of like Todd McFarlane and Eric Larson, these guys who were killing it on Spider-Man, that were doing amazing Spider-Man. They were doing amazing Spider-Man drawings, but his stuff never clicked with me. I will give it to him that he seems to be an artist that like can crank it out fast, and he's a solid artist, like he can draw, but his style just never stuck with me. I never liked his stuff. So, but it looks like he was the artist on this Spider-Man Life Story. If this is the book you're talking about, Adam. I've never read this, so but if you recommend it and you say it's good, I will try and find a copy to read. All 4 recommendations. Awesome one. What's up? Merry Christmas.
Yes! That's awesome!
Is it Christmas time yet? Almost. We got our tree. That's one thing we did right after Thanksgiving, is we got our tree, so that's up in our house. Happy Easter, awesome one. Are you getting a job text, or is there an emerging? I don't know. That's always the question. So that's why, hopefully it's neither. I get notifications too, like if my garage door opens, we have cameras, somebody delivers something or whatever, I get notifications too. So there's too many notifications, honestly. I think tech definitely makes us more aware and safer, but it's also more annoying because you got notifications going all the time. All right, thanks for keeping it real, Comrade Sammy. Michael Bancroft. It's so easy to stay on top of chat. Just ignore it. That's what I got to do. Check it out, Michael Bancroft. This is for you, man.
That's not a knife. That's a knife.
Michael Bancroft, I worked on your sound. There you go. The debut of the Bancroft sound. Let's listen to that one more time for those of you who didn't get the reference.
That's not a knife. That's a knife.
I don't know. I thought something about Australian. Is it stereotypical? Possibly, but there is no rules for my chat sound effects. I can do what I want to. Hope you enjoyed it. I really actually love that movie, and that clip made me crack up, or that moment always made me crack up when I was younger. So there you go, Michael Bancroft. Welcome. There's your chat sound effects. Glad you're here. Thanks for coming. It's true, emo trash. I know I gotta ignore you guys more. Will you guys be okay with that if I don't ignore it? And then I get the chat that's saying, he's ignoring. I guess I gotta ask the question. He's not checking me out. So, I'm not complaining though. It gives me more time to be a nuisance in your chat. Yeah. Which makes the chat go faster and longer, and then I get more behind. Merry Christmas. All right, I'm skipping over. See, good day. There you go. You're leaning into the stereotype there, Michael Bancroft. Do you really say good day? I don't know. I don't like the thin, big-headed Spider-Man. Yeah, that does happen in Mark Bagley's world. It does. Weird adolescent Yeah, I agree with you there. There we go. That's a knife. Yes. Rocky probably had security set to keep Sean's pranks at a minimum. That's right. There we go. Michael Bancroft appreciates it. Awesome. Thank you. Yes, that's what I got to work on this week, this past break, holiday break too. I got to catch up on my chat sound effects. So I got you, Bancroft, done. I got my friend Alan Lau, if he shows up in here, I got his. And I also have one for Diesel, if Diesel shows up. I did 3, guys. Oh, let me switch to this view. 3. So yeah, I'm going to open this up while I'm talking. I'm going to try and multitask here, because I don't want to get 40 minutes behind. I ignore you, Rocky. It's only fair. I do say good day, but I might be a dying breed. You know what? I'd say keep it up. Good day. I mean, it was either that movie, or I was going to get some like didgeridoo sound, which could be even worse. So yeah, there you go, Michael Bancroft. Oh, yes. This is great. Okay, let me make sure I take off. I need to open this. Hang on a second, folks. So that I don't have incriminating evidence. Okay, so do you remember the last package I got? Oh dear Lord. The last book I got delivered was Wildcat's Compendium. I ordered it from this website called InStockTrades.com, which they have really good prices on some trades that they have in stock, hence their name. But for some odd reason, 2 out of the 3 books I ordered were not in stock, which I was like, well, doesn't that contradict that you're called In Stock Trades? Anyway, so I got the first delivery, which was that Wildcat's Compendium, which I have been absolutely enjoying walking down memory lane reading that book. It's really fun. I think they recolored that too, or souped up the colors, because it looks a lot cooler than I remember it, the coloring in it. Anyway, and enjoying that in the middle of reading that. But the other 2 books that were part of my order never came, and I was not sure why. Well, they just came. And so here are the 2 of them. Check these out. Let's go to bigger view. Here we go. So boom, there we go. We have Astonishing X-Men, written by Joss Whedon, drawn by John Cassaday. Rest in peace. Let me double check. I think this is the whole series, because there's a few compilations that were... Is this the whole series? This is a good chunk of the Cassaday run. There might be even more. But Joss Whedon, for those of you guys who may or may not know, his claim to fame was as a TV writer. He started off writing Star Trek. I want to say The Next Generation. I could be wrong about that. But he started off as a TV writer. Alan Lau would know this. He was the one who introduced me to Joss Whedon. And then he wrote a series. Then he worked on Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the TV series, which got hugely popular. Then he did Angel, which was a spin-off of Buffy. And then he did his own original sci-fi series called Firefly, which was incredible. I really loved that series. And then directed a movie called Serenity that was based off of Firefly. Great movie, great tie-in to the TV series. And then he directed the first Avengers movie, which catapulted that Marvel MCU into superstardom after that first series. And then he got canceled for doing some crazy stuff and treating people horribly, which is really sad to hear. But he is a fantastic writer. And then he's always been into comics, and he had a run writing, at the height of his career, had a run writing Astonishing X-Men. And he paired up with John Cassaday. So ever since John Cassaday passed away recently, I've just kind of been reintroducing myself to his work and just appreciating the talent that he put into this stuff. I remember reading this when Joss Whedon first released this and loving it. But I lost the individual issues to the series in one of the floods that happened in one of my houses, and I never replenished it. So anyway, this place, In Stock Trades, had this compilation for sale, so I picked it up, and that's one of the ones I came up with. Firefly, yes, absolutely. It's such a good story. It's written so well. The characters are incredible. And so, yeah, I love Firefly. Anytime I talk about that show, the diehard fans will come out of the woodwork and be like, "Oh my gosh, you love Firefly." Okay, wait. It's another graphic novel. Yes. I see X-Men and DWA. That's right. Yep. You can always spot DWA. And let's see. Extremity. Michael Bancroft says Extremity is next on my reading list. It comes highly recommended. So I first got into Extremity, or first found out about Extremity through the signature edition, which I opened and flipped through on stream a few streams ago, Michael Bancroft. But this is incredible. This was something I backed on Kickstarter. You can't even see it. It's so huge. I backed this on Kickstarter a while ago. Oh my gosh, you can't even. It is just too big. But it's an artist edition of Extremity, and I had never heard of the series before. Just a huge fan of DWJ's work. I'm not going to even try and fit this on here. It's just insane. But a huge fan of his work. And ever since Do a Powerbomb and Transformers, obviously what he did with Transformers just solidified in my mind like how great he was. And so I've been backtracking and trying to read all of the things that he's done. So they came out with this Kickstarter of Extremity, and I backed it, and it's incredible. And if you haven't, you must already know about this, Michael Bancroft, but if you don't, check out Daniel Warren Johnson's YouTube channel, because he draws on stream every Friday. He calls it Friday with D-Dubs, and it's amazing. And so just to see his original artwork in this book at size is mind-blowing. So it's phenomenal. This book is incredible, great production value, and it's the whole series in compiled together. However, there's no dialogue. It's just all art, which is awesome. But I have no idea or I have kind of an idea what is happening in the story based on the art, but I don't know all of the story. And so I was like, I should probably get a copy of the actual graphic novel so I can read it. So that's the other thing that I got in the mail here is actually Extremity. So now I have the whole thing, Extremity 1 through 12. And I love that he did 12 issues. That's such a cool model of like, you know, an issue a month. I'm assuming it came out every month when it came out. And the artwork is incredible in it. And then this has Mike Spicer colors on it as well, who is the colorist that they must be really good friends because Mike Spicer, as far as I know, has colored everything that Daniel Warren Johnson has done. And he's a great colorist for Daniel Warren Johnson's work. So that's one thing. Like, I love seeing the black and white art. I'll always back that or buy that when I see black and white art of a comic book. But Mike Spicer is one of those colorists who's like, ooh, like he's awesome. So you miss that with the black and white art edition. You don't get to see any of his magic. Okay, we'll look at that in a second, but let's look through some of this Astonishing X-Men right here. Okay, I know I'm way behind now. Cranberry Lander said he really hated that X-Men series. It's like my least favorite. Really? Oh, man. Cranberry. This is the first Christmas where I'm buying comics for my son. It's been fun picking stuff out. Oh, that's awesome. I had a friend of mine ask me, like, for his son, how old is his son? I mean, now his son's in 6th grade or 7th grade. But yeah, he's getting into comics. So he's asking me, like, do you recommend stuff? And he didn't want anything too violent, didn't want anything too adult. So I was racking my brain to think of some great ones. Like one of the ones I was thinking was like Nausicaa is a really good one to read. Bone. I mean, he read some of my Batman. I let him borrow some of my Batman comics. So, whoops. But yeah, that's great. That'd be cool to see. Which ones are you picking for your son, Adam? I'd love to know that. Problem with Whedon is everyone bites his humor, which got really old real fast. Yeah, it's true. It's true. I think the thing that I love so much about it, and especially in Firefly, it's funny because it was kind of this Whedon thing of like, you knew he was going to kill your favorite character. So there was this like real sense of danger and he made you love those characters so much. And then he'd kill him. And it was just like, oh, dang it. Like, but yeah, he had such a great command of character, like the snarky humor. Yeah, I don't know. I loved it. I really loved it. I wasn't too big of like all of his TV writing at times, but definitely Firefly. It was like short enough. It didn't overstay its welcome. And those characters were all really great in that. Cranberry Landers, okay, now this is why you don't like the Astonishing X-Men. It's because you didn't like Firefly. Passionate fans, indeed. He also did the Neil Patrick Harris Dr. Horrible sing-along. I loved that. He's got this quirky sense of humor. I love Cassidy's one thing that is a great thing about his artwork is it's really cinematic, and he does this a lot. I finished reading that Planetary. Was it Planetary? I always get Planetary confused with gosh. Oops. Yes, it was Planetary. Warren Ellis. That's right. He definitely did this in Planetary, but John Cassidy loves to do the like widescreen a lot, which made it feel cinematic, his stuff. And then not only that, but his figures are based in reality. I mean, they're still stylized, but they definitely have more of a realistic feel to them. Must be using like photo reference, but not to the point where I felt like it was dead or stiff. And they just felt very alive and real. And then you get these kind of compositions, like these covers. Like he started tapping into this in Planetary, but like even more so, this is an amazing cover right here of White Queen and Cyclops. It's awesome. So it just felt like you could watch a film of his stuff. And then you pair that with Joss Whedon's writing. Yeah, it was dynamite. How could you not like this, Cranberry? It had a different feel to it. It definitely felt different, but I remember reading. I haven't read this in a long time, so I'm excited to read it again. I felt like it was true to the characters, and it put them in situations that felt true to the X-Men. And they wrestled with things that were very X-Men things to wrestle with. But then it had this like modern cinematic feel that Cassidy brought and Whedon himself brought. Look at that cover. That's amazing. The colorist on this. Who is the colorist on this? Oh, Laura Martin. Right. She's awesome. I believe she colored him on Planetary as well. And they were just starting out as a team on Planetary. I mean, that is a cool Nick Fury right there. How could you not like this, Cranberry? This artwork's amazing. Is that the X-Men story with the giant bullet? Yes. At the end, I believe. I read this so long ago. I can't even remember if this is the whole series. This might not even be the whole series that he ran. That's why I wasn't sure. It might not be. Because I remember it ended... Yeah, this might not be the whole series. Because I remember it ended with that bullet launching, if I'm not mistaken. James Marsters got his big break in Buffy as Spike. Yep, he sure did. Didn't love it either. Cranberry was okay, but I don't get the hype. Michael Bancroft's given us the Aussie slang. I don't know I was supposed to dislike Whedon until someone said he ruined stuff. Yeah, I was more into Star Wars and Star Trek. Yeah, me too. I definitely was too. But like, there's some great writers that came up in Star Trek, and arguably Star Trek. The writers that came up in Star Trek were TV writers, right? Because Star Trek was more of a TV thing than versus Star Wars for movies. But there was Joss Whedon and oh my gosh, Ron. He did the new Battlestar Galactica. Ronald Moore, thank you. He was also a Star Trek writer. I think he got his start on Deep Space Nine for sure. I don't know if he was on Next Generation. But both of those guys coming out of the like Star Trek pool, those are incredible creators and writers. I love Laura Martin's colors on Cassidy's work. She did these bold things. She would do this in Planetary too. These bold, like, monochromatic sequences. It's awesome. I love the artwork in this. Great. It's so sad John Cassidy passed away. Yeah, this combo of, like, realism, yet not... Yet... Great cover. But bigger than life, cinematic. It's a great combo. I love his Wolverine. Not everybody can draw Wolverine good and put their own spin on it. And I do like John Cassidy's Wolverine. These colors are awesome. Fastball special. Yeah, I don't know if this is the whole shebang. I think you're right, Adam. I think it does end with a big bullet, and I don't see that happening here. Yeah, a lot of this widescreen stuff, it's awesome. Could be just like storyboards for a film. All these covers are killer. Great covers. How could you guys not like this? Yeah, these colors are great. Anyway, I'm super psyched. If this is not the whole series, which I don't think it is, probably have to look at what the second volume is after this one. Which is a shame because I used to have, there's the Hellfire Club. Like crazy cool. That's weird. Cool little sketches back here. Yeah, I think that... Oh, this is cool. Wow. It's pre-digital, man. Awesome. So... Yeah, this is volume 1. Astonishing X-Men number 1 through 12. I don't know how long Whedon's run is. I'll have to look that up, but it's probably more than 12. Anyway, I can't wait to read this. It looks great. Great artwork, super consistent for 12 issues. That quality bar, my gosh. Okay, let's look at this bad boy. Wait, let me catch up first. Fireboarded Fly. Fireboarded Fly. Did you not like it either, Awesome One? I wasn't a huge fan of his humor. It works sometimes for me. Extremity is great. It also really hits if you're an artist. Yes, I knew that about... I read a little bit about that in Daniel Warren Johnson's intro to that artist edition book, or that signature edition book, whatever it's called. And he was saying about it was kind of like the struggle of an artist and revenge and like that creative block. And I noticed that seeing in the art that the daughter character here, she's always carrying her sketchbook and she's not drawing in it. So I think a lot of the story was self-referential probably for Daniel Warren Johnson. This is awesome. If I had more desk space, I would look at the comparison between the two, the black and white version of these, but I don't. So, sorry. Mike Spicer's colors are always on point on DWJ's work. It's got this cool, like, aliens green. Oh, I love this, guys. These are all like teeth. It's creepy. One book that I just got from the library, this is great, that is DWJ, is Murder Falcon. I have not read Murder Falcon either, so I'm pretty excited to read that one. Yeah, so this is nice that I can actually read the dialogue in this and not piece together the story. But it's a great exercise, I would argue, of storytelling. how much of a story can you get by reading something or looking at something, just visuals, no dialogue? Are you able to follow the story? And I would argue I did, looking through the signature edition. Now there's some details that you can't pick up and names and a little bit of the plot here and there, but I got most of it. After I read this, I'll see if I was right, if I was getting it. But yeah, it's a great exercise as a storyteller. How much of the story can you tell without a word of dialogue? This is great. So yeah, this is all 12 issues, and if I'm not mistaken, each issue, it wasn't a floppy. I think each issue was kind of a square bound. I think it was like more pages than a floppy, so it was square bound when they came out. And then this, compared to a comic, is, bigger than a comic. So that's cool. It's like bigger size. And I love that it's hardbound too. Always love a hardbound, especially for this much content, this thick of a book. Having it in hardbound is great. Amazing. Wow, that's a cool page. I remember seeing this in black and white. So it's kind of cool to see the like green on this insect and the blood. It's cool too with the colors, with these background colors where DWJ is just putting like action lines. And Spicer does just a color hit here, but then does just a slight gradient. Adds a lot. Gives it a little bit of a light source, light direction. I'll talk about colors a little bit more in a second about some of the issues I picked up last week. There's something in specific about color that I'll bring up. But we don't even notice it necessarily. Like when you look at this panel, you're like, oh yeah, it's like yellow and orange in the back. But it's pretty subtle, the choices Mike Spicer is taking here. So like this is not just a straight, I don't know if you can see it on camera, this is not just a straight yellow here. This yellow goes from a little darker to lighter here. And then there's hits of orange on some of these speed lines. So the effect I'm feeling when I look at this is it almost creates like this tunnel, similar to what the lines are doing, but it enhances the tunnel that DWJ created with the black and white art of this character, the very strong vertical of this character moving from top to bottom. And the color kind of supports that, which is great, but there's super subtle things that he's doing, and we take it for granted unless you're a colorist and you're actually making these choices. Like for example, here, this is kind of cool. You can see the difference between keeping the outlines black here on this sound effect and this kablam. And then here, he colors the lines, which are this like hot or warm color here. And so it just adds to the like heat coming off from this explosion. The fact that the letters are affected by that color too. Versus here where it just like pops like a sound effect. It's like he makes choices like that. I don't know what his methodology is, but sometimes he keeps them black. Sometimes he reverses them here. Sometimes he does self-color lines here. All of these are the choices that the colorist is making. So cool. Really great. All right. When are you going to get Murder Falcon? It's the best DJ. Yes, I have it, and I'll read it. Maybe I'll talk about it on stream one day or something. But yeah, I'm excited about that one. The severed head on a spike was brutal. Mr. Monkey Boy, what's up?
How do you say monkey in French?
Adam says it's a life goal to meet DWJ. Yeah, he seems like a cool dude, just based on his streams and the interviews I've seen him do. He just seems like super laid back and like really nice. I saw a great interview yesterday. Another artist that seems incredibly nice and like just willing to share is Jason Fabok, who did Rook Exodus with Ghost Machine. And he did a great interview yesterday on, what's the name of that YouTube channel? Comic Pals, Comic Guys, something comics. They interviewed him, and it was awesome to hear him talk about Ghost Machine. He's just super excited about it. And he said how hard it is to draw Rook Exodus, but he just loves it because it's, resonating with the fans. Love this color. That's great. Blue-green. Resonating with fans, and they're just enjoying creating their own universe. Michael Bancroft didn't just sub to DWJ. Yeah, it's great. He's been doing it for a long. Nice Akira reference here. He's been doing it for a long time, my understanding. And it's just really, there's that dude. That just encapsulates his personality. It's just so cool. The thing I appreciate the most is like, he's just kind of figuring it out. I mean, he knows what he's doing for sure. He's not unaware of his talent. But at the same time, it's just amazing to see his process. And it's not polished by any means. It's just raw, pure him. And he's just kind of like hitting it with his desk is a mess. And he's got like 7-Up cups on the table. And I love it because every now and then his daughter will like come into his room and say a couple things, or his wife will say, hey, you got to get off. We got to go to dinner or whatever. It's like super real. And that's what makes it, I think that's what makes him so relatable. It just comes across as so relatable. And he's just very, very grateful for all the success he has. And yet he's just a monster talent. So yeah, he'd be cool to meet. All right, cool. So those were the two things that unboxed. Let me catch up here, and then we'll get to the comics that we missed out yesterday. Or not yesterday, last week. No dialogue. What is this, a Shant book? What are you talking about? Shant's got... I just reread Nosfero yesterday, and I loved it. And everything that Shant did, I just love it. I think this is the thing that I love. The comics that I love the most are the ones that are the most authentic to the creators. Like you can tell that's who the creators are. And Nosfero is a great example of that. Like for those of you who know Shant and or just know him from his streams and the hard work and everything that he puts into his artwork, it just comes out of Nosfero. It's just him. Just the dialogue, the mythology that he's writing, the things that he's referencing, it's just all 100% Shant. And when he comes out with Spring Ball, which he's working on right now, you guys will see that is also 100% Shant. And so it just makes you like, the more you get to know him from his streams, and the more, I mean, I've known him for over 30 years, right? So I can definitely speak into the fact that that is Shant. It's not a facade. It's not a, he's not trying to be a certain thing. It's just who he is. And you just get a piece of it, like in that comic book. It's really incredible. And I just reread it yesterday. I was sitting sitting on a couch and just reading it. And I was just smiling so big because I'm like, this is so Sean. Like all the like names and the deep lore and the like, it's so him. Emo Trash said, for context, yesterday I somehow rolled my ankle really badly. Ouch. When I'm not wearing shoes, the limp is real. But for some absolutely unknown reason to me, I can walk perfectly fine in heels. I don't get heels, man. Yeah, it makes zero sense. I agree with you on that. Topically, the new Transformers is a good kids book. That's true. It is a little... It can be a little dark in spots. Not to the point where I wouldn't let a kid read it. So yeah, that's a good recommendation for sure. And you're a huge fan of DWJ, Adam, so I'm pretty sure you're going to recommend Transformers to your son. Firefly was supposed to be a comedy. It had comedic aspects to it, but there was some stuff that wasn't comedic in Firefly for sure. So far, I have the trade for New Avengers and Birth of Venom for my son. Okay, he's more into Marvel than DC. Excellent. I was a Marvel boy as well, which is easier for me to pick out, yes. I'm just trying to think, like, the stuff that got me into comics when I was a kid. I was definitely into Uncanny X-Men. Man, there's so much good stuff. I finished reading that Incredible Hulk thing, The Big Change. Big Change or The Big Chance? And that was really good. That one would be great for your son to read. It was super fun. It was just good old-fashioned comic book fun, and the humor was there. It was great. Firefly is the only good Jerk Whedon show. Really? I don't know. I haven't seen all of Buffy or Angel, but my friends who introduced me to Firefly were huge Buffy Angel fans. So I always meant to like sit down and read those. Watch those, but I never got past like, I think first or second season. All of what you're saying, I disagree with like 100%. All right. Some Whedon haters in the chat. It's okay. Getting his baby. Oh boy. Cran has unique likes is all Rocky. Okay. That's all. Fair enough. We don't all have to like the same stuff. It's great to have people love and hate the same things. That's true. That's absolutely true. I 100% agree with that, Cranberry Landers. We are on the same page about that. This is where the most intense debates happen. Hours-long, in-depth conversations. Like, yes. And I'd argue Joss Whedon writes a great Kitty Pryde in that series. So, touche. We seem to be missing a person whose name starts with J and ends with on. Better get in here quick if he doesn't want an earful. The colors were awesome. Yes. John, we miss thee. I don't mind the art as much as the story. Okay. Sean Cassidy passed away? Did he? Are we talking about John Cassidy? I'm getting confused here. It's not you guys. Don't blame it on everyone else. It's just me. Spider Girl's a pretty... Spider Girl? I'm going to have to disagree with you on that one, Cranberry. Let's see. We're talking about John. John's two-timing us. No. Don't harass John. He'll come when he's ready. It's like a red hue to orange yellow. Yeah, that color grad, right? Yeah. It's really subtle stuff there. And Spicer does that a lot. So Spicer, I didn't see it so much. I haven't looked at it closely for that Extremity book, but definitely in Transformers, he does a lot more like painterly stuff. But his colors are just great. And works really well with Daniel Warren Johnson's like ink style. You guys are totally sleuthing on John. Dang, give a guy a break. Maybe he doesn't want to cut on the street. You know, it's funny, like the longer, when you take breaks from streaming, like I did this past week, getting back in, you're like, oh, like, can I do this? Am I able to do this? Who's calling? Oh gosh, I got a call. That freaks me out. No? Okay. Oh dear. Okay, hang on a second. I do have to take this call. Be right back. So I was scrolling through chat. Did you guys see that now? I was manually scrolling through chat while I was taking my call. I thought there was a way that chat, I don't know if it's because I'm so far behind. That's why chat wasn't moving last time. Anyway, I did have to take that call. That was kind of important to take. So thanks for waiting around, guys. This is weird. All right, wait. I don't want to like miss everything, but if I go back too much, I'm going to get really far behind. So let me just jump ahead here. I saw, okay, DW, yes, every Friday. Yes, I see food talk. Katie. What's up, Katie?
Say cup of tea.
Cup of tea.
Happy,
No, a cup of tea.
happy birthday, Katie. Shall we all sing happy birthday, Katie? Happy birthday, Katie. We heard it. A little bird from Florida told us it's your birthday today. So happy birthday. We played your sound effect earlier in honor of that, but since you're here, there you go. Hope you're having a great birthday. And yeah, Eat a piece of cake for us, for the chat. But thank you for stopping in on your birthday. Do you have better things to do than be here? Or maybe you're getting ready for bed? I don't know. But I'm honored that you're here on your birthday. Happy birthday. Everybody's saying happy birthday to Katie. Tea and biscuits all around. That's right. Awesome One says Buffy is great. Angel is okay. Okay. I'm jumping ahead. I'm trying to catch it. I may be asleep. Okay. I'm here. Don't tell me not to harass John. Okay, I won't. I do what I want. I harass who I want. Yes. Okay. Awesome One break from most streams for about 2 weeks. Good for you. I mean, it makes you appreciate too. Like sometimes you just get caught up in the rhythm of just like, oh, I got to check this and watch this, blah, 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 and watch this stream, blah, blah, blah. And it's nice to step away from it, which was what this break did for me. And then I found a couple new streams that I was like, oh, what's this? Like a couple totally unrelated to comics. So yeah, it kind of opens up your, it's like cleaning your palate before you start eating again. What is up? Art and Times of Jay Ryan.
It's actually a really good sculpt.
Art and Times J. Ryan says, Whedon ruined dialogue in film, TV, games, and comics. Now every character is a smartass that can't have a serious conversation with constant barrages of witty retorts and that kills tension. Yeah, definitely. I think people saw the success he had. Like when he first came out with that, you guys got to admit, like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, interesting concept, but that movie was not that great. And he took that and turned it into a successful series, made the character cool, and built a lot of great stories and characters off of that. And he kind of really benefited, or not benefited, but changed the game with his style of writing with those characters. So I thought it was great. And I think that's kind of what made Firefly great for me too, was it was like a little bit of Star Wars, a little bit of Star Trek, but like kind of snarky. The humor, the characters were great. Nathan Fillion was a great cast in that. All the characters that were cast in that were awesome. Great actors. And I love all those actors. So, but yeah, there was for sure a trend after the success of what Whedon did and the formulas that he would use for his writing that people started following. So I can see that, but it was good. Okay. Yeah, I'm still behind because people are talking about my pause screen. Buffy was really terrible for it. Started a lot of copycats. Yeah. I mean, what? Like I didn't really like what was that show he wrote? Dollhouse. Didn't really like that. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was like, he wasn't a main writer on that. It was his brother and his brother. I think it was his brother and his brother's wife were the main creator or producers on that. And I didn't, it was okay. I find like Whedon, he works better at TV scale than he does film scale as well. But I really liked the first Avengers. I still watch that all the time. So I don't know. I like Joss Whedon. Okay. From the last chat and screen, you're 6 minutes behind. I'm sorry, guys. This is why people don't pay attention to chat. Okay, there we go. Nathan Fillion's awesome in general. Yes, he's great in Castle. My daughter's a huge fan of The Rookie, the show The Rookie, and he's in that too. He's awesome. He was great, and he's gonna be in the. I think he got cast as He's going to be in the new Superman, right? He's huge, good friends with James Gunn. So he is going to be, I thought he was going to be one of the Green Lanterns, right? Guy Gardner? Isn't Nathan Fillion Guy Gardner? I thought he was. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Dolly Parton is a producer for Buffy. True story. No kidding. I'm amazed Dolly Parton is still alive. I don't know, how old is she? She's like 90,000 years old. Okay, let me go through some of the things that I got last week. And, let's start with this one. Last week. We'll get back into comics here. Let's talk comics. Guy Gardner, everybody's saying. Yes, Guy Gardner. Guy Gardner, that's right. Nathan Fillion's going to be a great Guy Gardner, too. He was great in that Guardians movie, too. Played that, like, snarky, just the little bit roles he does. He's so good. Nathan Fillion's so funny. I know he kind of plays the same role every time, but he's so funny. Okay, remember, I was just talking about the Hulk and the Bernie Wrightson Hulk and Thing graphic novel called The Big Change. Big Chance or Big Change? We'll find out in a second. But I saw this on the rack and I was like, whoa, okay, cool. It's just so happened to be the same exact cover of that graphic novel. And this whole issue of Back Issue is about graphic novels that Marvel started in the Bronze Age, which I thought was like so cool to find out more information on. It was, it all started with this one, The Death of Captain Marvel, as like, it became a very viable format for Marvel at the time. So I would say this is like the early 80s probably is when, late 70s, early 80s is when this format started taking root. And I have a few that like... You guys have seen... I think I have another one that's in a box in my garage, so I can't pull it out. But it was like Dan Green did one for Doctor Strange. But like these that I have, this Wolverine, the Hulk, and the Thing, right? The Big Change that I just read is great book. Artwork like we had flipped through when I did. On my stream, when I flip through, the artwork's great, but the story's really fun. It's just classic banter between Hulk and Thing in these situations. And then this, who could forget this? God Loves, Man Kills, another landmark story in the X-Men universe. But they were all produced in this format. Not only the size, this like digest kind of size, but a wider format. And then this magazine back issue talks about the production value. This was that Buscema Wolverine, which I love. The production value was different too. So they could do like different coloring techniques and the paper quality was different. So this magazine kind of walks through the history of the graphic novels. And I don't have a lot of these, but it made me want to find a bunch of these just so I can see it. I actually, did I return this? Oh no. So yeah, the other reason I picked up this magazine is like so many things that I was reading currently were talked about in this magazine. So the Star Slammers Complete Collection, huge Walt Simonson fan, and Star Slammers was actually a project that he started way before he became a professional artist. And then a lot of life came into it when he was in college at the Rhode Island School of Design, which is actually the college I went to. And he did it as his junior and senior project there. And that's what got him hired to work at Marvel. So this is the whole compilation or collection of Star Slammers. And then he produced it at Marvel as a graphic novel. And then he did a series. At the time, like Image was popular. So like mid 90s. He did a series with a company called, I think it was called Bravura. So he kind of relaunched a new Star Slammer story with them. But it's like his sci-fi epic. It's fun. It's really fun Simonson stuff. So yeah, that's one of the graphic novels that they talked about here. It was just like a format, and the kind of stories that they were telling were a lot more mature, stories that couldn't be told in a regular series. They weren't like superhero comics necessarily, so it was great. It was kind of like an indie, a way to step into different stories that weren't your main characters, mainstream, but still be under the banner of Marvel. So there was a lot of experimentation going on. I've never heard of this, but this one seems pretty fun, called Super Boxers. Yeah, I love it. That cover actually is not Buscema. This cover is Joe Jusko, who he did a lot of painted covers and Marvel card art in the 90s, 2000s. He's a painter, pretty much, but he did a lot of work for Marvel. Yeah, he did this cover. It's a great cover. Mike Kaluta, great artist, fantasy artist. Jackson Geis, he had a run on Micronauts and Rom, the Space Knight, and then he did this book called Swords of Swashbucklers. So yeah, a lot of this stuff I had never heard of. John Bolton's a great artist who did I knew his work from some backstories he did for classic X-Men. This is one. I don't have a copy of this. I want to get my hands on this. Mike Kaluta and Russ Heath on A Shadow. Look at that cover. So amazing. Really good version of Shadow. Here we go. God Loves, Man Kills. This is the cover, right, of the book. But this is a like preliminary sketch that Brent Anderson did of that cover, which is really fascinating to see. It's like this face was not Professor X, became Professor X in the final, but this face was somebody else's face. Sienkiewicz cover for Dazzler. Some Silver Surfer graphic novels that I've never seen before. There's the cover. This is the Joe Jusko cover of that Buscema Wolverine. Larry Hama did a book called Wolfpack. Never heard of it. Very interesting. Yeah, I remember a lot of the covers of these books, seeing them as a kid, but I never picked them up. This was the Doctor Strange graphic novel that I have. It's in my garage, though. I can't pull it out easily. By Dan Green, who was the inker, a fantastic inker on a lot of great artists like Mark Silvestri and Rick Leonardi and stuff. But he was also a great painter in his own right. She-Hulk graphic novel they're talking. Oh, this was like a cool New Mutants graphic novel. I'm sorry, Inhumans graphic novel that Brett Blevins worked on, which I have not read in a long time. Some Conan stuff. Anyway, it's cool to see the history of the graphic novel format. And I have this one, Star Raiders. You guys remember this? Have I shown this one on stream? This one, oof, by Jose Luis Garcia Lopez. And they were just saying, like, you guys know how much I love Jose Luis Garcia Lopez. he was hot off of coming working on like Atari Force, and but because of this format, he was able to do the whole thing painted, which is awesome, and just experiment with a whole bunch of different things because the printing process was a lot more sophisticated for these graphic novels than it was for the floppies. They could afford a higher quality printing process. So a lot of painted books came out of this. And it reminded me of Shant too. Shant's book, Nosfero, is very similar in size and format to this, and page count, and also just because it's a painted book, right? So it's kind of cool to see like, oh, if Shant produced Nosfero with Marvel, it would have been like one of these graphic novels. So yeah, anyway, fun trip to learn more about the graphic novel history, and then just to see all the books that came out during this time and the kind of stories that they were telling during this time. A whole checklist of these. Pretty awesome. There's one more thing. They were talking about the death of Captain Marvel. I love this. There was this whole sequence. I think it was at the beginning. Oh yeah, right here. Because the death of Captain Marvel, he basically died of cancer, which was really sad. And they, this Marvel, Captain Marvel, and he never came back, right? It wasn't like, oh yeah, he's going to come back. He's going to be resurrected. Like he died of cancer. So they have this whole interplay between him and Thanos and death, and just accepting, kind of embracing death. It's like a very mature story. God Loves, Man Kills, the X-Men book, is very much like that. A really mature story. And this format allowed for that kind of story to be told. Anyway, kind of cool that came out. It was very fresh in my mind, all these graphic novels, and I had just picked up that Hulk and thing. And so when I saw it, I was like, oh, what's this about? So it was a great pickup, and I'm like halfway through reading it, but really awesome just to understand the format and the history and see how stories have changed and evolved because of it. Just makes me think of like independent books and like formats, and what is the standard format? Is it a graphic novel? Is it a floppy? There's all sorts of debates going on right now about it. Oh gosh, super behind. Guy Gardner. Yes, Guy Gardner. I'm way behind. All right, I'm going to just skip ahead. That's what it looks like. Both he, Mr. Terrific, and Hawkgirl had Maxwell Lord emblems on their costumes in the filming set images that were captured. Oh, okay, cool. I haven't seen any of those like spy photos of the set of Superman, so I kind of don't like to see spoilers. Been a minute since I've seen a public library book. Rocky. I go to the library a lot, both to work, like just to kind of have a quiet place to work, but also just to like go through their graphic novels. And I have a whole stack that I just slowly get through. And then by the time I get through, I've gotten a bunch more. I've never depleted the stack of library books that I got. So yeah, it's great. I love our local libraries. Rom looks so stupid. It was a toy. The Shadow, yes. I prefer the initial sketch for that X-Men cover. It was awesome. The Doctor Strange art looks gorgeous. Yeah, it was great. Really good art. We have a really good library, but I don't use it. I only use the streaming service they are partnered with. Yeah. Oh, is it like Hoopla, Mark's Music Obsession? We have that too with our library. I mean, I got Warriors through our library. The Warriors, the movie. And just recently, where I got that Star Slammers and where I got Murder Falcon was our main library, which is downtown. It's a little harder for me to get to, but it has a big graphic novel selection. So there was one day I was like, I just want to go there and just spend some time digging through their collection. So yeah, it was really cool to see that. Yep, Hoopla. That's right. Yeah, we have the same thing. How you go through comics from the library is how I went through them. Stacks and stacks of comics. It's so fun. And oftentimes, if I need to catch up on stuff, I always look at the library first before the idea of buying it, because it's just like, there's way too much. I can't possibly keep it all. And if the library has it, I'll get it. And then if it's worth buying, I'll buy it. But most of the time, it's just great to like go through that stuff through the library first. And especially now that, speaking of formats, that graphic novels are like more common than not. A lot more stuff is available at the library as far as comics are concerned. Okay, so this is one of the things I picked up last week, which is the Absolute Wonder Woman Noir edition. So if you guys remember, I did pick up Absolute Wonder Woman #1, the regular version here. And they came out with a Noir edition. Surprise, surprise. And I think this week they came out with a Noir edition for Superman, which I'm a huge fan of black and white comics. But one thing I noticed, I'm pretty sure this artist, Hayden Sherman, drew this digitally because it's just way too clean. And there was no like smudges or like corrections, which was different from the Absolute Batman Noir edition, the Nick Dragotta one. That one you can tell he draws traditionally because you could see all the like smudges and corrections, and that's what I really love about black and white stuff. However, I do like Hayden Sherman's artwork, and I was willing to plunk down a little bit more money to get a black and white version. I don't know if I'm going to get the black and white version for Superman. That one I think is also drawn digitally, and it's like, well, like, do I really? I'm like not a huge fan of the art style of Absolute Superman. Is it worth it for me to get a black and white version? I'll probably look at it in person and determine that. But so I was talking about the importance of colorists at the beginning of the stream or earlier in this stream. And one of the things I'm thinking of doing, not 100% sure yet, is maybe doing a closer look video of Absolute Wonder Woman #1 with the Noir edition, because the colorist on this, Jordi Belair, is one of the hottest, most popular colorists right now. And I'd argue is one of the best colorists right now. And she's done a lot of work with Declan Shalvey. That's how I was exposed to her, was through his work. And I've mentioned it a couple times, but I think they used to date. And now Declan Shalvey colors his own stuff. But he mentions how great of a colorist she is, and she is a really good colorist. But what she brings to this book, to Absolute Wonder Woman, as a colorist is huge. And I think to look at both of these books together would just highlight that. So I almost am thinking doing a closer look just to focus on the coloring process and what Jordi Belair did, and compare it, because we have it here, to compare it to the black and white version. Does that sound interesting to you guys? I think it would be interesting. It would be interesting for me because it's just like, I mean, the artwork's good. You know, I like it. But once you add her colors to it, it's just a totally different level. And there's a lot of like storytelling that goes on in here in the colors that you can't even see in the black and white. So yeah, I thought that's a big reason why I picked up this book, because it's like, oh, you can really see the difference between color version and black and white version, and how much coloring adds to the scene. Just like, I mean, just look, you just take any spread and just look at it and go, oh, okay, well, it's super different. Yeah. So that's my thought. But this was one of the issues I picked up last week, this Noir edition. I'm assuming DC is doing this just because maybe Absolute Batman Noir edition did really well. And they've done a few Noir editions before of like Mark Silvestri's work on Batman, and Rafael Grampa's work on Batman. They do a Noir edition too on that, on his Batman Gargoyles of Gotham book, which I picked up. But I think that's probably why they did this, and they're doing it just for the number ones of these series, the 3 Absolute series. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's the thinking. What's the marketing thinking of doing it? I mean, this is cool, right? This is a cool spread in black and white. But like, look how different that feels with the colors. Like, look at her eyes. Just elevates it. And not all colorists can do that, for sure. But she's somebody who brings a whole, and it's not just color theory. She brings a whole different level of artistry with her colors that I love. And she makes beautiful choices. So anyway, I'm thinking of doing that. I'll see how that goes. It'll also give me an opportunity to try out my prompter, my Elgato prompter, to see how writing a script and using a prompter to speak it would work. But that's the thought. But that is one of the pickups I had from last week. Absolute Wonder Woman Noir Edition. Alrighty. Let's see. Emo Trash says, I don't even remember the last time I went to either of the libraries in my town. You should go. You have no idea what you'll run across. I love that about libraries. Mr. Monkey Boy said, I fell asleep. Did I miss anyone? Sorry. You can also read the backstories associated books more without dropping. There you go. That's true. Rocky took a call, talked about reading graphic novels from his library. Yep. You can see the difference between the 2 covers. Yeah, totally. Just between those 2 covers, like, there's just a whole different feel. And the Absolute Wonder Woman story is all about her being raised in Hades, like in a dark side. And so that's like the shtick for this world or this version of Wonder Woman. And so it really comes across in the colors. I mean, you could see it here, but like that feels really dark and kind of moody compared to this. But I love me some black and white. It would probably be interesting. I'm down for whatever stuff about comic art. There you go. All right, awesome. Thank you. Did Rocky's soothing voice lull you to sleep? Of course. That's what I do. Digital sucks, Mr. Monkey Boy says. Dark meat isn't nothing us mortals would eat. What? Rocky, when I find time, I'll think about it. It's good. Libraries are good. All right, cool. I picked this up last week. This is number 3 of 6, Violator. I picked up number 2 of 6. That was that Kyle Holtz issue, which was fantastic. And this issue is drawn by an artist named Wayshak. I follow him on X, I believe. But he's got this kind of crazy, sketchy style. And you know who loves his stuff is Jason. Unhinged loves his stuff. And seeing this book, I can totally see why. Like, this is right up Jason's alley. There's like an expressiveness, like a exaggeration, and just a fury with the line and like the splatters and the scratchy ink line that is just right up Jason's alley. So it's kind of cool to see his issue after Kyle Hotz's Violator issue. They're totally different styles, but they kind of complement the Spawn Violator universe. The guy who drew the first issue, I don't even know what the name of the guy who drew the first issue is, but it wasn't anything like this, and it didn't make me want to pick up the book at all, unfortunately. But can't you see Jason drawing this stuff? It's totally up his alley. And I know he said he really, really loved this book or this artist, so it's cool. It's cool, another take on Violator. Some cool stuff here. Creepy characters, bloody. Like this is such a page that Jason would draw right here. It's really cool. I love this take on Violator. It's kind of interesting, this series. And then the cool thing, the same thing they did in the Hots book, was they have a few pages of the inks, which I love seeing. Very much unhinged. It's cool. Cool. I don't know who's doing issue 4. Yeah, we'll see. TBD. I'm just picking it up because the art on these last 2 books has been great. I'm not really super attached to the story necessarily, but the artwork has been fun. So it's Violator, number 3. Was a pickup from last week. Wait, why Hades? Why not have bat wings on the horse then? Good question. Would be more fitting. That's true. Good design sense there. Any more thoughts on the next master study? Mark, you are so sharp. I am almost prepped with presenting you guys the next master study. And there's just one thing that I'm hesitating on, but more than likely it will be a one-pager cover, like one image cover kind of thing, Mark, based on your recommendations. So hang on. Either I'm hoping to, if I don't share it this week, so if I stream again this week, I will probably do the vote on it sometime this week. It's just whether or not I make this decision on these 3 images. If I decide to change and pivot, then it'll probably push to next week. It's the short story. So hang in there. It's coming. But yeah, we're going to get ready to start the next one. But more than likely, it's going to be like a splash page, cover page, one image. Jonathan Wayshak. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I just know him by Wayshak, but he's cool. Cool artist. The page with the Violator with the city in the background is something that, like what Jason would do. Yeah, totally. You're going to rip my heart out. No. Just delaying, possibly, Mr. Monkey Boy. Just delaying things. I'm not going to rip your heart out. Yeah, good choice. The last one was a challenge. It was. Yeah, I might need... there is some stuff, like as I was doing my research, like these kind of splash images, one-page images, they all have their own challenges in it too. So, yeah, it'll be different. Yeah, let's look at this one. Rocketfellers. This one came out. So I really like Francis Manapul's artwork. Great artist. I wasn't super excited about the story on this one. I haven't read it yet, but just the premise, I was like, oh, okay. It's like family adventure, time travel kind of stuff. But I was a little hesitant on Hyde Street when I found out the premise on Hyde Street. And after I read that book, I read Hyde Street 1 and 2. I was so impressed by it. Granted, that was Jeff Johns' writing, and he has quickly become one of my favorite modern day writers in comics. And this is Peter J. Tomasi, so I'm less familiar with his writing style. I've read some stuff that he's done, but it doesn't like, it's not like I'm like, oh, a Peter J. Tomasi story. Like now I'm just like any Jeff Johns thing. I'm like, oh, I got to read that. But I was so shocked at how much I liked Hyde Street, which based on premise, I wasn't that excited about. So I'm definitely going to give this one a go and hopefully be pleasantly surprised by it, because Ghost Machine, they're just knocking it out of the park. They're hitting home runs for me. And they're just doing it right. So I'm hopeful that this will be the same case and I'll be really excited about it. But I'll let you guys know after I read it. But this came out last week, Rocketfellers #1. Very, very cool art. Consistently what I was thinking I would get from a Manipool book. And who is doing colors on this? Oh, I guess Manipool's doing his own colors. Yeah. Cool stuff. He's got a lot of appeal in his artwork. Just built-in appeal in the characters. So yeah, let's see. Looks good. Looks solid. There's all these. I think this week a lot of like, I don't think Rocketfellers 2 came out this week, but there's definitely been books this week. This is Hyde Street #2. It was awesome. It's very good. But there's a lot of like Christmas holiday books, themed books coming out. A couple of them coming out this week, like Marvel's doing one, DC's doing one. And I'm like, I don't know, guys. But maybe they're doing something for Rocketfellers. This was another book. I was like, yeah, the artwork didn't totally grab me on this one. And this is written by Peter J. Tomasi also. So I didn't pick up. This one did come out. I didn't pick this one up. Yeah, it's like, eh. I don't know. You really got to, for a first issue, no name characters, you really got to grab me with something, whether it's the story or the artwork from the start. And that's what got me picking up the first issues for all the Ghost Machine books so far. And the stories have just kept me locked in, so. Can't ever go wrong with Jeff Johns, Timmy Mello says. Jeff Johns is one of my favorite. Yeah, he's great. He's really great with characters and just motivations of the characters and what drives them to be who the characters are. And go watch that. What was it? What was the name of that? Where's my cursor? Let me find that show I watched last night. It was called The Comics Pals. The Comics Pals. If you guys are interested in watching a great interview with Jason Fabok, the artist on Rook Exodus, The Comics Pals, their latest live stream they did was last night, and they had him on as a guest. And he talks about Jeff Johns and working with Jeff Johns and how, like, he would come when they were coming up with the idea of Rook Exodus. He was like, well, I got this kind of cool character, and he wears a crow helmet and fights these bad guys, and he has all these cool guns and stuff. And Jeff Johns will always ask him this question of like, but why? Like, why is he like, what's his story? What's his motivation? Would push him. And Jason Fabok's like, I don't know, it looks cool, which is often how artists approach things. But he said just the pairing, the two of them bring so much, they work so well together of, yeah, we want it to be cool and exciting and great storytelling, but we also want it to have like characters with heart, and that's what makes it sing, you know. And to have Jeff Johns be writing and be paired up with all those talented artists. Gary Frank and Ivan Reis and Jason Fabok and Gary Frank, Brian Hitch. Those guys, like those are all top tier artists. And then to have a writer like Jeff Johns on it is awesome. And he writes such different things for each book. So he's good. It's really good. Wide range. With a name like Ghost Machine, they've got a standard to uphold. There you go. Wrote one of the body storylines in the modern comics with the Blackest Night event. Yeah. It's what moved DC above Marvel for me in terms of writing and art at the time. Yeah. He's an actual long-term fan of comics too. I mean, you would hope so, right? Like a lot of the writers say, "Oh yeah, I read comics or even artists. Oh yeah, I read it all the time." But sometimes they came out with like not great stuff, even though they're fans. But yeah, I think Jeff Johns has such a respect for the characters he writes, and then he just really dives deep into their motivations. Yep. He values the history of histories as the characters. This was so there's 12 issues of this coming out. I've bought every one so far. I probably buy all of them. And the cool thing is they pair up. So this is a tribute to what Tim Sale and Jeff Loeb did on Batman's Long Halloween, one of the kind of benchmark Batman stories out there. Tim Sale passed away a couple years ago, and so this was a story that he was working on with Jeff Loeb, a new story, but he passed away before it was finished, and so they got all these artists to basically draw one chapter of this whole series, and so the first book was was Eduardo Rizzo. Second one was Klaus Janson, and now this third one is Mark Chiarello. This is the Arthur Adams cover. Mark Chiarello for the longest time was the art director / creative director at at DC, and he was like the brains behind the Batman Black and White series and the Solo series. Like he's just an artist, and he's a great artist. He's a painter. And so he did a lot of covers. I don't think he did many full books. He was more of like a cover artist, maybe one shots here and there. So it was awesome to see that he was the artist on this issue. Hello. 1 second. He was the artist on this issue, because you don't find sequential artwork from Mark Chiarello very often. I think he was just too busy being like a creative director and editor. But he's great, and I was really excited to see that he was doing the art on this. So like designy, artsy, cool. I'm pretty sure he did his own colors too. Yeah, he's the artist in it. That's awesome. Really, really fun stuff. Love this. Love the colors on this. See, it's almost like each one is like a illustration as opposed to comic art. But how cool is that? And I know Chiarello is a painter, but it looks like he did this digital for sure. Great colors. It's kind of like gray tones here and this like a really hot red up here. Love this. Barely any color here except Robin's cape. Super moody. Yeah, Chiarello's really known for his like graphic sensibilities and his color work. His color work is always like mind-blowing. We have some of his layouts here, thumbnails, designs, cool stuff. Next issue is Cliff Chang, who did Catwoman, The Lost City, I believe. It's okay. He's okay. I mean, I like his work. I'm not super diehard fan of his work, but it's good. But yeah, I just love it when different artists do their own takes. And it's all kind of in this like series, anthology, or whatever you want to call it. And they interview each artist at the end of the issues that they draw. And it's kind of cool because Tim Sale had such a distinct style. If you guys have seen Long Halloween, distinct Tim Sale style storytelling. And oftentimes the question asked by the interviewer is like, oh, how much were you referencing Tim Sale? And do you want to be true to Tim Sale style because he is the Long Halloween artist? Versus doing what they do best. And all of them are just like, oh, I just wanted to honor Tim Sale, but at the same time, I, just kind of do what I do. So it's kind of cool. They ride that line between not drawing like Tim Sale, but honoring his take. I mean, like Chiarello does it. You can see it. I saw it clearly in his version of Catwoman. This is very much a Tim Sale version of Catwoman. But it's drawn in a Chiarello style. But that's Tim Sale's design for Catwoman, so. His Batman does look different than Tim Sale's Batman, though. This is what Tim Sale's Batman looks more like. Super long ears. All right. That was one aggressive... No. That was the one that did not make it into the calendar. That cat. Where's my water? He's the loud one. He's the loud boy. How did you add caffeine to your hot chocolate, Comrade Sammy? Like coffee or what? What did you do? That does sound good, though. So picture this, sleeping in my bed, nuzzled, warm in my bed. This large 15-pound weight lands on me, startles me, and then I hear that meow, like straight up in my face. That's how I wake up. That's how I wake up every day. It's very frightening. Yes. Those are great pages in my opinion. Yeah, it's awesome. Chiarello's awesome. I didn't hear the cat on the TV system. Really? Weird. Maybe it's like 5.1 surround and one of your speakers in the rear wasn't loud enough. Bancroft's Art Share is live now, but I'm hanging in Rocky. Oh, thanks, Mark. I'm almost done here. I'll let you go soon. Thank you for hanging out. Or feel free to go if you need to go. But thank you for hanging out. I appreciate it. I dislike that Catwoman design. She's not my favorite, but it's distinctly Tim Sale. You get a feel for the personality artist in that interview. It's a neat way to connect reader with artists. Yes, agreed. I love that they do that. All of those issues have an interview with artists, so I love it. And they all are like super respectful of Tim Sale and what he's done. I can see that. Dropping sugar forces me to get some dorky mortal food. Yes, Rocky, I poured a coffee in my hot chocolate. I have never tried that. That sounds really good. All right. Couple more issues. So these are in the back issue bin. Thank Amazing Fantasy, Frank at Amazing Fantasy, doggone it, he keeps replenishing his back issues, and I don't have the I already took it out of its sleeve, but he puts this little printout that has the price and also like artwork by blah blah blah. And so this one was like Superman and Deadman, artwork by Jose Garcia Lopez. I was like, oh my gosh, is that going to be really cool? It's really cool. He's the man, Jose Garcia Lopez. He did a stint on Deadman, and he's drawn Superman a million times. So you guys remember I had that Treasury edition of Superman versus Wonder Woman? That was Jose Garcia Lopez. I am one of the things I ordered earlier in this year, should be coming maybe in a month or so, was the reprint of the DC Standards guide, which Jose Garcia Lopez drew. And it was basically the manual that they handed to all their marketing artists who did anything with like advertising or packaging or anything, and they had to draw the DC characters. They had to follow this guide. And Jose Garcia Lopez was the one who drew the guide. And it was always this very difficult thing to find. If you bought it on eBay, it would be like hundreds and hundreds of dollars because they didn't sell it. Well, some company got the rights to print it, and so they printed a version that you could buy and produced it. And yeah, so that should be coming. Whenever that comes, you guys will see it. But as always, the man can draw anything. This was the artist on Atari Force and that graphic novel that I just showed you guys, Star Raiders. But he can draw anything, and he would pick these amazing angles. So much personality and character in his drawings and designs. So many great expressions, super command of anatomy and appeal. But it's awesome to see him, Superman and Deadman. Like, what? So cool. Great Superman drawing. So yeah, he drew this whole thing. Love the colors on this. This is awesome. It's like, I mean, he kind of lives in the same realm as like Neil Adams, that realism, but like exaggerated realism. But there's something about Jose Garcia Lopez's artwork that appealed way more to me than Neil Adams. I like Neil Adams stuff, but I don't know if his artwork was cleaner or, I don't know, something cooler. Anyway, it's fun to see old book here. It's a great face. This one was from the back issue, and then the last book I'll show you guys, this find, because of this guy, Kevin Nolan. He is amazing artist, and I had no idea he drew this annual, but he drew the whole thing. And I love Kevin Nolan's work. I'm pretty sure Kevin Nolan did the colors too, so they have this weird Kevin Nolan feel to them. But the Outsiders, what a weird team. Geoforce, Black Lightning, Metamorpho. Is her name Katana? Or I don't know what that girl's name is, and I forgot that girl's name. And of course, Batman. But only Kevin Nolan would draw these like so complicated shadows, and look at this crazy color. This like side lighting here, that color, that cool blue. So wild. It's amazing storyteller. I love it. The whole issue is drawn by him. But he uses white a lot in the coloring, which is very, very unusual, but super effective. What's this guy's name? What is this guy's name? Is it like Rattler or something? I can't remember. Cobra? No. Lord Cobra. Oh, that's this guy. What's the other guy's name? But Kevin Nolan had these distinct faces. A lot of people didn't like his artwork, but I love it. They're so interesting. These faces. Black, yeah, it was Katana. Halo, that's right. Halo. But what was the redhead's name? I never really followed the Outsiders. Anyway, Kevin Nolan didn't draw a regular book that often. So he would often do, or so he would do like annuals. He would do one-shots, guest fill-ins here and there. Look at that face. That's so cool. So to have a whole book like this that he drew and penciled, inked, and colored is a pretty rare find. So I was so psyched. I thought I was just going to get it and he would draw maybe like some of the insides. But that he did the whole thing is awesome. What was that guy's name? I don't remember his name. I guess it's Cobra. K-O-B with a K. Cobra. There we go. Outsiders. Yeah. Such a weird team. It's like it doesn't make sense that Batman would be paired up with these guys. Like these are like the funky bunch. Like they are all so different and weird. And then to pair Batman up with it, it's like the 2000 series better. I don't think I read I have not read much of the Outsiders. I do remember there was a series that I believe Alan Davis, the guy who did Excalibur, he was drawing the Outsiders for a while, which was great art. But I didn't read that even. So yeah, I don't know much about the Outsiders. I think that's the Shift incarnation of Metamorpho. Ooh, that's way above my head. Metamorpho's Vestige clone was a cool. Wow, you guys deep in. I don't know. Mike Barr, that's right. All right, I'll have to check it out. Cool. 2000 series of the Outsiders. You know him, Timmy Mello? You know Mike Barr? How do you know Mike Barr? That's cool. He's written a lot of stuff. I think he was even in that. I think in the magazine I was just talking about. Did they mention Mike Barr in here? Jim Starlin. I could have sworn Mike Barr was one of the writers that they talked about. Simonson, Cockrum. I was mistaken. Mike Barron. Am I getting confused with Mike Barron? Yeah, maybe I got confused. But I mean, Mike Barr has been writing stuff for a long time. He created Damian Wayne. Oh, there we go. There we go. All right. Whew. Well, that's all I got for today, guys. See, how's that for like not going to the shop. How's that for that? Oh, let me show you really quick before we go. This will be the last thing. Wait, let me just check my messages. Shoot. Ooh, I have an offer from a seller. That's dangerous. All right, this is the last thing I'll show you guys. That's it? Could have done with one more. Here, this is what I'll show you guys. I will show you guys the rough cut of the latest comic book store spotlight video that I have been working on. Like I said at the beginning of the stream, probably about 80% through with this one. It's a store called Comics Conspiracy, and it is in... Let me just find the business card. Sunnyvale, California, and which is a little bit south from where I am. And it's a great store, The owner was super nice, and yeah. So I've been meaning to edit this video for a while now, and finally got a little bit of time last week to get it started, and I got a good chunk of it done last night. So let me show you guys the rough cut of it, and then it should be I should be finishing up within the next day or so. So here we go. Emo Trash says, name just caught my eye because that surname is also in my dad's side of the family. That could be a common name. Who knows? Maybe you are related to Mike Barr. We did a few events with him back in 2012, but it's been a while since I've touched base with him. He's a really nice, cool guy. He's full of comic wisdom. Yeah, he's been around for a while. So I'm sure there's tons of stuff that I have that he's written. It's just not coming to my mind. It's really sunny in Sunnyvale. Sometimes. All right, let's go. Let's watch this. Here we go. Hang on. Let me make this a little bigger. All right. Let's try this again. I forgot to mention that, whoops. I forgot to mention that I don't have any of the titles in there yet. That's still what I got to work in. And then I haven't done any like color correcting or some camera moves that I still need to add in. So just the rough cut, but you guys can kind of see where it is. Cranberry Lander says, nice plastic. I loved that Plastic Man. It's actually a stool, but I loved it. It was so genius. Great design. I like the neatly stacked rows of comics. Yeah, it was pretty neat in there, especially like the back issues. They had those rows and rows of back issue bins that you could pull out and look. And the cool thing, not the Plastic Man stool, but they had these other plastic stools that you could pull out and sit down and flip through stuff. So I love those kind of touches for a store. And the cool story about this place was the now owner used to just be a fan and a customer. And I think the previous owner retired or whatever was selling it. And so he took over the business after that person retired and has continued it on for, I think, a few decades now. But it's really cool to kind of he just went from fan to business owner. And it was really nice. Comics Conspiracy would make for a great comics podcast based on obscure theories. That would be cool. That is a good idea, Timmy Mello. If I was a smarter man, I would do that myself. But I don't know enough about comics conspiracy stuff to like make a whole podcast about that. But that's a great idea. So Emo Trash, you aren't related to Mike Barr, or you might be. Not 100% sure. The videos are always so well done, Rocky. Thanks, Mark. Thank you so much. Yeah, they're fun. They're really fun. And I just love, especially the store owners that are appreciative of it and really cooperative of it. I love doing that for them. So it's been a while. It's been a while since I've done one. So hopefully, I mean, this one will be next in line to get in the queue. I wasn't close to him, so not much skin off my back personally. All right. Rest in peace, Mike Barr. I love Plastic Man, one of the most impressive characters in all of DC Comics. I think he's one of the most not underutilized, but I haven't found him done really well outside of what Jack Cole, the original creator of Plastic Man, or creator artist of Plastic Man. I haven't seen many artists. Like Kyle Baker did a run on Plastic Man, which was okay. They have a current run on Plastic Man right now, which I'm like, eh. I have... That would be interesting to see. Where is it, though? 1 second. Where did that go? Dang it. I had a book. I'll have to find it. Oh. Aha. Wow, that's rare that I would find a book on that shelf behind me. So there was a guy that I knew. There was a guy that I knew named Andy Suriano, who he's done comics before. He did a comic with, he did a few comics with the writer Joe Casey back in the 2000s. But his name's Andy Suriano, and he's a animation director. He directed the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle series that came out recently. Gosh, which one was it? There's so many Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So let me. Not the movie. He did the animated TV series, Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So Andy Suriano was the executive producer on that and pretty much did all the design work, or the key design work on that. He's a great artist, really good artist, and he got his start working on Samurai Jack and with Gendy Tartakovsky, and he worked on a show, Clone Wars, the Star Wars Clone Wars, not the 3D one, the 2D one. He worked on that with Gendy also. So he was kind of in that Gendy group of guys. Great designer, comic book lover. And he did an animated, I think, short of Plastic Man. And that was an awesome version of Plastic Man. And this is this is an art book that he put out. See, there he goes. Thanks for your years of support. All the best. Bring me up to SF and hire me, he said. I wish. Oh yeah, so this book is awesome. Like, look at his version of Plastic Man. Isn't that cool? It was really fun and very animated. I think he just did a short. Here's some storyboards from it. But I love this. That's so cool. Like, that felt right to me for Plastic Man. Like, it was kind of silly, but also very, very cool. Great designer. Man, Andy's a great designer. So yeah, he just did a pilot for Plastic Man, and I don't think it ever turned into anything, unfortunately. And then this is some of his other artwork. Other stuff he worked on. I love Andy's designs. We did hire him for one project we worked on, but nothing full-time. Anyway, oh, here's some of the stuff he did for Samurai Jack. He was a character designer on Samurai Jack. This is stuff for Clone Wars. I love that 2D Clone Wars. Man, that was awesome stuff. Better than the 3D series, in my opinion. And then here's some of his comic stuff, because Andy is a huge comic fan. Very influenced by, like, Kirby, Jack Davis. This was the book he worked on with Joe Casey called Charlatan's Ball. Look at that Green Lantern. Crazy. Look at these Wonder Women. Spider-Man. So fun. He has such a distinct style. Anyway, fun little side note there. Andy Suriano. Check out his work. Look him up. Okay, let me catch up and then we'll go. I wouldn't have the slightest clue, Rocky. My dad is also technically my stepdad, so if he was, he definitely wouldn't be any blood to me. Okay. All right, it's a stretch. Van Sciver does a mean Plastic Man. I think I've seen Ethan Van Sciver's version of Plastic Man, which arguably Ethan's style is super realistic and like really detailed, and Plastic Man, it's kind of cool to see Plastic Man done that way, but I like it when it's like pushed a little bit more cartoony just because of his powers. He can take the form of sleeping he wants to, no matter how small. Sleeping? Timmy Mello says, how's the Invisible Jets comic store going since we are on topic of comic stores? I haven't checked in with Chris. Maybe I'll go to her store this week for a visit. But yeah, I haven't checked in with her. She's still opening and still, still kind of running the second location of her store. So yeah, good question. Him versus Martian Manhunter and JLA series would be a respect to him. They did a respect to him. Rise of the TMNT. Yes, that's right. Rise of the TMNT. You're right. Absolutely. Yeah, that's Andy Suriano. So you can see that kind of similar cartooniness, like the hard-edged graphic stuff is very prominent in his work. Cranberry Landra says, JLA Trial by Fire. Oh, wait, I never even used my notes today. I'm going to write down... Whoops. I'm going to write down 2000. These are all from Cran. Oops. 2000 Outsiders. And what did you just say? JLA. I can't even see. JLA Trial by Fire. All right. I'm going to put those in my notes. Oh, what happened? Did I just lose that? What the heck? 2000 Outsiders and JLA Trial by Fire. All right. I'll have to check those out. I only watched Rise of the TMNT for the art style. The writing was very Well, there you go. Andy Suriano. Those toon designs are on point. Yes. Ramona Fradone. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Did she draw Plastic Man? Huh. She's awesome. They took away Raphael Sass in that series. Oh, okay. Some nice character designs and Samurai Jack. I love Samurai Jack. Big influence on me. Love that. 1999 to 2005 Magic. All of that is Cartoon Gold. There was some great stuff that came out. All those guys, it was originally Hanna-Barbera, and then they spun out to actually be Cartoon Network, which unfortunately is no longer in existence. That building, that headquarters, that Cartoon Network, that company is no longer in existence. Saw a lot of posts of people saying goodbye to the building. I've visited that studio a few times. It's really cool. And just to think of everything that was created there, like Powerpuff Girls and Dexter's Laboratories, Samurai Jack, all the cool stuff. It's really, really great. John isn't here to get an earful, so he's safe until next stream we cross paths on. Still hasn't responded to my DM either. Oh, you guys. John is slacking. Never got back to him after class was over. They took the sass from Raph and gave it to Donnie. They got some great action sequences in that. And I think a lot of that has to do with a lot of the action sequences were animated. Like, they send a bunch of that overseas to work, like to churn out most of the series. But a lot of the action sequences they kept and animated them here stateside. So really, really cool stuff that I've seen in that show. I never watched that show all the way through, but the sequences I did see were pretty phenomenal, towards the end especially. It's all on Max now, pretty much. Cartoon Network is basically just this. Yeah, it's really sad. You knew things weren't going well for that network when they started showing a lot of live action shows, or they were developing a lot of live action shows in on a network called Cartoon Network. You knew that things weren't going bad. One of my friends, I'd say mentor, she came and spoke to our school when I was a student, and she had such an impression on me, and she was handing out business cards at the end of it. And she was the executive in charge of basically discovering the Gendy Tartakovskys, the Craig McCrackens, the Powerpuff Girls, Stammer Jack, Dexter's Lab, all those guys. She was the executive in charge. She had such an eye for like great animation, great cartoons, and she was so nice. Her name was Linda Semensky. She was at Cartoon Network for the longest time. And anyway, she was handing out business cards at the end of her speech. And I was this crazy student. This is some tips for you, emo trash. I just, on a whim, was like, I'm going to write her on this business card. She had an email address. I'm going to email her and try and connect with her. I just had the gall to do it. Who was I? And she responded, and she was really, really nice. Gave me a lot of great tips and pointers, and really helped me on my way to start my career. So I always remember her, because when I get people who are asking for advice or tips or whatever, I always try and give them a lot of time and talk with them and help them out as best as I can, because I remember the people that did that for me. And Linda Semensky was one of them, and she was such a part of making Cartoon Network as great as it was. So it's so sad and she left many years ago, but it's so sad to see that disappear, all the talent and hard work that was put into that studio to disappear. Really, really sad. Animation is 10 out of 10. Action sequences seem very Yes, you are absolutely right. I enjoyed regular show and the beginning to mid episodes of Adventure Time. That's regular show, Adventure Time. They were all, I feel like I'm too old for those shows. I know they were good, but never clicked with me. They always felt too, every time I watched them, I'm like, I'm too old for this. Rise of TMNT was on Nickelodeon. You were right. Nickelodeon owns the rights to TMNT for animation, I think. I wrote to Linda Semensky. Yeah. Linda Semensky. Look her up. She's amazing. But the reason I say that, emo trash, is because you are in school. You are at the beginning of your career, education, or whatever. And I say, put yourself out there. Just go after it. Go for it. Anybody who's out there willing to give you advice, go get it. Go be bold, be brave, and go for it. You never know what's going to happen. And in that particular case, I knew Linda Semensky was super high in the ranks, but I had no idea how high, and I had no idea that she would give me the time of day. And she didn't have to. I was a nobody, and she did. And it meant a lot to me, and it really carved out or changed the trajectory of my career. Oddly, Adventure Time turned out to be Cartoon Network's most developed series in the long course of the network's history, where it's pretty much still going as a mature series, and you would never think of that. Yeah. It was. I mean, it was long running, and kudos to that team and the creator, Penn Ward, is that right? Who created that show. Like, they put their stamp on the history of TV animation in America, but it wasn't for me. Spell the last name for me. It is, here, I'll type it in the chat. It's Linda Semensky. Yeah. Just look up her history. She's amazing. And then she went, after Cartoon Network, she worked for PBS for a long time, and she developed shows like Word Girl was a big one that she developed there, and there was a bunch of other shows. I can't remember off the top of my head. And now I think, if I'm not mistaken, last I talked with her, which was a year or two ago, I check in with her every now and then. She works for Duolingo. Yeah. Regular show and Adventure Time tended to be kind of hit or miss for me. Yeah, I just didn't get the humor so much for me. It was so like bizarre weirdo humor for me. So yeah, never clicked. I mean, I like the designs and stuff like that. Good friends that worked on that show, on those shows, but never clicked for me. Pendleton Ward, that's right. That's the creator. Let's see. Maybe she is related to Mike Barr. I don't know. Cranberry Langer says, I use Duolingo. Nice. Yeah, she got brought on board to help develop like the storytelling in Duolingo, like with the characters and the storytelling aspect in teaching languages. So I don't use Duolingo, but I heard it's great things about it. And I can imagine a lot of the character development has to do with Linda. She was great with characters. All right, you guys. Mr. Monkey Boy likes the weird treehouse kids. What are we talking about? Too bizarre weirdo. That's like my favorite stuff. Yeah, to an extent. I mean, speaking of like Joss Whedon and all the people that like followed after him and made every character snarky and it was all similar. I feel like there was a million people after Adventure Time that made things so weird and bizarre. And at the end of the day, and with like the noodle arms and the weird derpy faces, after a while I was just like, all right, I'm done. So that's just me. Didn't appeal to me. There's a ton of progressive crap jammed into Duolingo, so that's pretty helpful. All right, I don't know what her views or political views are. I don't know if that's her. She's also involved in the Owl House. Maybe. She was involved in a lot. Progressive messaging was overt, but that's unfortunately the norm in many popular series these days. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. All right, cool. I don't know, emo trash. I don't know. I don't track that. Linda is a super, super, super nice person. I have all the respect for her. And just what she's done in anime. She's a diehard animation fan for sure. That speaking of people that are fans first, that are in the industry, like Jeff Johns, she is a fan, diehard fan. And she just wants good stories. She just tells good stories. I can't imagine knowing Linda. I don't know her that well, but knowing her, I can't imagine she pushes agendas in the work that she supports and produces. But I don't know. I can't say I can't say for sure. Codename Kids Next Door. Yes, I believe she was involved in that, I think. If I look up the writer, no. She's dead. She did not work on Arcane. I don't know, but that's what makes me hesitate to recommend it everywhere. But it is a great tool to learn a language. They have good animation in the app. It's probably Linda. All right, now that's it. See, I'm trying to catch up, but now you guys are taking it. I used doing that. There you go. Duolingo to learn French. That's right. Oui, oui. Oui, oui. All right. I'm just getting trailed out here by you guys. Thank you guys for coming. Thank you for showing up, as always, and supporting the channel. Hit that like, comment, share. We got to move the needle on where are we at? I always like to look at 442. We got a subscriber. Nice. 442. All right. My job here is done. It was halted for a while for the last couple of days. So awesome. We got a new subscriber, whoever they may be. Thank you for subscribing. But hit that like, share it out, comment all that you can for this channel. I hope that I might be streaming again. And if I do, it will be voting on the new master study coming up. Spoiler alert, nothing to do with the master study. Spoiler alert, I have been dabbling in Discord, but Give me a little bit more time, but I have been dabbling in Discord a little bit, so we'll see if that becomes a part of this whole mess. I'll have to get tips from all of you guys on Discord. Maybe, I think John sent me out a link many streams ago. I can't find it. Maybe I will have to hit you guys up for a link to whatever Discord you're part of to see if I need to do this. But, come on now. Come on, Mr. Monkey Boy. Don't be a sourpuss. Don't be a sourpuss. It'll come. It'll come. It'll all make sense in the end. All right, you guys. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. I will see you soon. If not this week, for sure next week. And we'll get going on that next master study, whichever that may be. And till then, read more comics. And I will see you guys soon. All right, take it easy.